All right, good morning, and a very warm welcome to SRII Global Conference 2012. And this meeting is what we call them SRII Global Leadership Meeting. All of you are here because you all play a very important leadership role in defining what SRII is all about. So over the next 4 days, from today till Friday, we will talk about SRII from multiple angles, multiple subjects, multiple tracks, several dozen papers. What I plan to do here today is to share with you what we did last year is about SRII in terms of who we are, what we do, how we do, and more important, get your input, guidance, participation in making SRII even more bigger, better, and more effective. Okay? SRII is roughly about 2.5 to 3 years old. And I must say I'm so pleased and happy and impressed with participation of leaders like you and hundreds of other leaders around the world in this particular initiative. And we will discuss why interest is there, what is the value of SRII. We have people from almost every part of the world. We have people from almost every sector, from academia, industry, government, then also from discipline, from computer science to business to technology. So I think I'm very, very pleased to have this leadership connect together and help take SRII to the next level. So let me now we talk about who. So what I have done here is who of the leaders who are here we covered in 10, 15, 20 minutes, right? Let's talk about SRII. What are we trying to achieve, okay? And how do we achieve them, okay? So first thing is, I think you have seen many places. Our mission is very straightforward. We want to drive innovation for IT-enabled services for a better world. So I think I urge all of you to take SRII in that spirit. It's about making the world a better place. IT is a tool, is a process, is a system. But at the end, its impact is what we are trying to achieve. Okay, it's not measurement of this conference is not about publications and citations and journals. Those are very small sort of attributes. At the end, it's about the impact. And what I'm pleased to see, the leaders, all of you are here. And I know for sure that you all have the similar vision, how we can collectively work together. The second point here is working as a team. The agenda we are working on, no one individual, one organization, one company, no matter how big you are, can make those initiatives succeed. We all must connect, collaborate, and connect to drive those initiatives. So I will discuss these two words, IT and services, because it has multiple meanings. And I think we have discussed in the last year conference. IT here, our focus on IT is not about how to put more transistors, how to better architect XYZ, but drive value out of the IT products and tools and solutions. I expect somebody else to build microprocessors, somebody else to go develop software and codes. But what we want to do is define what IT can do, what IT needs are for healthcare, for finance, for government, for education. So let's have a very clear understanding of what our mission is. We want to drive value out of IT. We all have seen the wonders of IT in very, very short time, 40 years. Transistor was invented close to 1950, right? From transistors to microprocessors to computers to internet and now to social networking, all these things happen so quickly. And it is going to happen even more faster. You will see in the next decade. IT will accelerate the innovation. We will be moving very, very fast. But one shift has happened. If you look at Google, Facebook, they don't sell microprocessor, they don't sell computer, they sell services. So service has become the main focus of the world. And many of you professors in academia know the economy today is largely service-based. So I don't need to go and elaborate those data. You can see somewhere from 60 to 80 to 90% of the economy throughout the world is all service-oriented. IT job is to help make those service sector more productive. How do we build better technology tools to drive productivity and efficiency in these sectors? So our focus on IT is going to be about the value add. And services, let me also challenge some of you who have done a lot of good work in the area of services. There are a lot of books written about service. Service is about co-creation of value and service in X, Y, Z. And they all have some unique value. But I want to take a very practical view of services. For SRII, service is healthcare, service is education, service is government, service is finance. These are major service sectors. So I want you to kind of reorient your perspective of service from just academic definition of services to much more a practical view of services, which is sector-based. So in short, SRII mission is to connect the value of IT to all these major sectors of economy, which is largely service-based, okay? And again, I urge all of you leaders here and over the next 4 days to have more discussions around this, because this is very important for us to get a better articulation of what we are trying to do, okay? And again, we are just beginning to crawl. We barely know what and how to do these things, okay? Even though we have some work in progress that we will share with you, but we urge you to get involved and share your expertise, your experience to push those initiatives forward. So again, just reorienting what IT focus is, what service focus is all very practice-based, okay? IT industry 40 years ago was, quote unquote, it was very vertical. There were a few companies who used to build every stack of the solutions. Hardware, software, middleware applications came from Sun, Xerox, DEC, IBM. There were 4 or 5 top companies who built most of the stacks, right? And it was a good old days, and they added a lot of value, and IT took off. Then came the era of horizontalization, okay? Horizontalization is where Intel, you build microprocessor. Microsoft, you go build OS. Cisco, you go build routers and switches. Oracle, you go build middleware and databases, right? So this is called horizontalization because the challenge in the vertical model was one company cannot drive innovation at the fastest possible speed at every layer. So that drove the need for horizontalization. I was at Intel when IBM came to Intel and told, look, I cannot build everything ourselves. I want you to go build microprocessor. We'll give you $100 million and use your processor for IBM PC. And that made Intel what it is today. Very few people know the background of Intel and IBM. IBM did the same thing with Microsoft. Go build OS. And that gave rise to the PC era. Intel processor and Microsoft OS created a PC world, right? So that's a history, how IT has evolved from quote unquote vertical to horizontal. And horizontalization drove innovation really fast. Now, horizontalization drove innovation in a big way, but it also created some challenge. Like any innovation phase creates other challenges. Challenge now is how these pieces connect. How do you bring microprocessor and database and middleware and routers and switches and people and process to deliver solution? And that's a big challenge today. And challenge is, if you look at IT solutions and services, almost 75 to 80% cost is people. Just connecting those technology tools and processes together, it requires massive amount of people and resources. And that's not very productive. So all the technology innovation we did only constitutes 25% of the pie. 75% goes into the manual process and operations. So we need to change the paradigm. So we'll come back to this, how IT has to drive services, and that's one of our mission is to, if we better understand need of IT for healthcare, finance, energy, and then drive solutions. Today, every company has solutions and products and technology for almost every sector. You go to IBM or Intel or Microsoft, Infosys, we all serve different sectors. But we served each sector from our own lens, what we know the best. Okay? Intel will approach every sector from microprocessor point of view. Microsoft will approach from the OS point of view, and so on. And that's a very compartmentalized view of looking at solutions. SRII goal here is to bring leaders like all of us here together and look at what is IT today for healthcare. What is the gap? How do we drive IT innovation for healthcare collectively? What's the agenda? What's the strategy? And then let individual company go back to drawing board and build the best product, best technology, and compete. And let the best, the fittest survive. The competition is good, but let's compete on a right platform for building the right product. We are very intentional in bringing the leaders of major IT company together. And I must say, this is for the first time we have been able to bring so many leaders. You can see here, we have HP, we have IBM, we have Infosys, and many other companies together at a very senior level. And that's what makes our structure organization somewhat unique, and we will provide bigger value. In partnership with many of you organizations coming from academia, research, government. So you will see throughout next 4 days, leaders from all these sectors, industry, academia, government, working to address many of these topics that we just talked about, okay? Now, at the end, what do we deliver? What's our goal? Now that we talked about SRII, focus on IT and services, we are looking at IT in a very practical way, value add, service by looking at sectors, and getting the smartest people all from different sectors together. At the end, what we deliver are the following. Again, and this is where I need a lot of help, guidance, ideas, input, support in fine-tuning these deliverables, making it even more objective, more clear, or even fine-tune or change some of them. Number one, we build 6 special interest groups and chapters on major IT service initiatives. And as you have seen, our focus in innovation is 3-dimensional. One is we look at major verticals, healthcare, finance, energy, retail, telecom. Then we look at horizontals, cloud computing, analytics, security, business process, service quality, metrics. These are horizontal domains that go across all vertical. Then we build chapters in different countries, Japan, India, Thailand. There are leaders from all these different countries here to drive IT innovation for that particular region, because each region has own socioeconomic background, own needs, and we want to work with those leaders to drive those initiatives. So we are building bunch of 6 and chapter, and that's the meeting we have today. Those chapter and 6 leaders will present to you who they are, what they're working on, and more importantly, look for your guidance and support and participation. That's one. Next one is conference like this. We have for next 4 days, we are very fortunate to have a lot of smart people coming here together for 4 days to discuss these topics that are relevant to us from IT and services. We have built global conference here. We are starting conference in India that Subbu will talk about. They're hosting in December. Then we have plans to do a conference in Europe next year. We also plan to do a conference in Asia, in China, okay? So we touch upon every part of the world, okay, and address their specific needs. And the conference purpose is to bring the smartest people together for a few days to share our work, okay? Next one is build industry, academia, and government partnership on major IT initiatives, okay? As you can see in this room, we have leaders from all these sectors. And you will see throughout the conference, we have more leaders coming to work, define many of the initiatives and how we build teamwork. And as you will see in the conference, we have multiple panel sessions from healthcare IT to driving innovation in education to data analytics. These are major initiatives, and we want to build teamwork across those initiatives from all these sides, okay? Drive government policy regulation for IT services. Government plays a very important role, and I will challenge and urge leaders from all around the world. Develop IT service certification system, tools, metrics. So as I mentioned earlier, IT service is a new field, and it's very, IT service historically has been looked as almost like a back end, okay? You are call center, managing payroll, HR, finance, sales support, manufacturing support. These were classical definition of IT services, back-end functions. We are redefining IT service in SRII. IT service is healthcare. IT service is government. IT service is sector itself. It's not the people answering the phone and fixing your IT, how IT works, okay? So reorient this, but defining this IT services, we need much better tools, metrics system, like we have for products and technology. I have worked in microprocessor. There is a lot of precise measurements, how transistor works, how microprocessor is measured by frequency, by performance, by cycles, and many other things, how computer works. We have a lot of yardstick to measure the performance, right? We need to do something similar in IT services. We really do not have metrics. It's all very loosey-goosey. So our goal here is all of experts to let's develop a system, metrics tool for IT services, whether it be healthcare, whether it be finance, whether it be government. We must have metrics, how these sectors work. Only then we can drive innovation. If you have no metrics, it's hard to measure progress, right? Lastly, we want to help standard bodies. We do not want to become a standard. There are tons of standard bodies, from cloud computing to big data to security. But if you look at those standard bodies closely, they all need one big help, is much deeper requirements. What does cloud computing mean? What are the requirements of cloud computing for XYZ industry? Okay? And there is no better team than this, where we have leaders from all sectors together to help provide that requirement to that standard bodies. Otherwise, the standard bodies are just keep going in circle because the requirements keep changing and nobody conveys the right requirement to them. So our goal here is to work with the standard bodies in helping them get the right requirements. So we want to become a resource for them. So this is our current quote-unquote SRII deliverables. We are making good progress on multiple fronts. We have still a lot of work to do on many others, but this is just our list of things we want to deliver. And I urge you and I challenge you to look at these things and come up with better deliverables. Out of this, change, fine-tune, or even create new ones. And we can discuss it together, right? So I think we should be very proud that within 2 years, we have been able to articulate our mission, our strategy, our build teams, and every team is making progress at various different speed. And we are able to create this kind of conference where we invite people like you to come and participate, okay? We have built chapters in different countries. India is here, as you have seen Simon and Subbu and many others who will talk more about SRII India. Thailand team, a whole team is here, all the senior leaders. We have Australia, couldn't be here, but I'm in touch with them about their driving some environmental services. SRII Japan team is here. We have SRII Europe. We have quite a few leaders from SRII Europe. Currently, we are looking at Europe, UK, Spain, Germany. We have quite a bit of discussion going on. Our goal this conference is to connect with all the leaders from different European countries and build a united front where we invite European Union Commission to also play a very active role. And we have a very good discussions, and we have leaders here who will drive this initiative going forward. We have Vietnam, Taiwan, we have leaders from Taiwan here, and many other countries we will be working and building similar chapters, right? Now, so what we have done here is, in the last an hour or so, or 45 minutes, is got introduced ourselves, talked about SRII, mission, goal, deliverables, who we are, what we're trying to achieve. And again, I will repeat again, this is a journey. We don't have all the answers. We don't know all the questions. But having all the smart people like you in this room, we will figure out what and how to do them better.